to SignetRing Media. We are here with Sophie Le Ray, who is an author, an entrepreneur. She is the co-founder of Naseba, which is a business facilitation company. She's also the founder and spokesperson for WIL, which is Women in Leadership Economic Forum. Welcome. Pleasure to have you with us here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a bit about Women in Leadership Forum. Throw light on what it is about, how was it birthed, how's the story being told here in Dubai?
Well, it's the 18th edition, so it's a long story.
Oh wow!
But it started. It started as a need for me initially as a businesswoman, and a recognition that I didn't find that many networking opportunities. And as we are in the business facilitation service, we said, why don't we actually look at creating a platform that would offer that to women leaders. So we started in 2009, and we started it as I tend to say a gentle women's club. So it was not an old school old boy frat club, but it was a girls club, and it grew into much more than that. We grew the platform in several countries. We took it to China 2 or 3 times. We took it to Malaysia. We took it to India, Saudi Arabia. So we grew the network much more globally. We brought delegation to each other, and we decided about 2 years ago to bring it back to Dubai and to broaden the vision of the event, because it was as well answering a need for that, which was to create a real societal and economic platform that champions not only diversity but inclusion of diversity principles for a better future, for a better economy, for a better future. And that's what it is. So now it's a platform with about 500 leaders coming every year. Yeah, and what's interesting is that it's no longer a women's event, but it's actually an event where we are maybe 60%, 40% male and female. So we are we want to be and aspire to be a true champion to diversity principle.
Sounds so amazing, from a women's club to such a global platform of empowerment to so many individuals out there, right? So amazing. So this year, can you tell us what are the dates that's scheduled for it, and where is it going to be, and how do people participate in this?
So it's the 24th and the 25th of October. It's taking place at Ritz-Carlton in the AFC in Dubai. And to participate, well, you have to do quite fast because it's almost completely booked. So you go on wilforum.com and you register. That's as simple as that. And to just make a comment on what you were saying, I guess it was answering such a need in society, and it comes at a time where diversity and inclusion are such a strong need in order to better society.
That's true.
That's why the participants of the event made this platform participate to the success of that platform, because I have never seen in 20-something years of career in this business such a high level of implication and intensity in the conversations, in the agenda from the participants. It's incredible. So it really responds to something that is deeply necessary to society, I believe.
I think so too. I think that. So I've been to the forums in previous years. I'm looking forward to this one. So tell us, what is different about the forum for this year? Briefly touch on the agenda, maybe, and also what's the conversations going to be like around the forum?
Well, the agenda, I can't briefly do it because I mentioned you that 88 speakers this year, so I will not bore you with all the topics.
No, just pick out your favorites.
But I would say it's not necessarily different, but it's part of this evolution that society is going through and that we try to accompany. So we believe that discussing inclusive strategies are extremely important, because I think gender parity is a given now, and pretty much everyone understands the benefits of it. It's been documented, it's been reported. The conversation has to go further, and it is more about how to implement those strategies. That's one aspect. So the inclusion is very important in the D&I discussion. A second thing is that we believe that diversity goes beyond just gender. We believe that obviously in Dubai, racial diversity and ethnical diversity is not really something that is new. However, transgenerational and how to include the youth in the conversation of diversity is something that needs to be as well addressed. So we've looked at two important points this year to add to our agenda. It is, how do we include the youth in the conversation? And this agenda, the theme of the event is the future of everything. It's quite ambitious. We're saying diversity is at the foundation of the future. And so how do you talk about the future if you don't bring
in the future?
Exactly. So if you don't bring the youth. So we've tried to work around sessions where we could really include the youth. And by youth, I don't mean only millennials, because millennials were already there, but high schoolers, students, university students, so we've done partnerships with AUS and AUD. We're working on programs that will be all year long, working on the theme of diversity and inclusion. We're very, very fortunate to have a fantastic documentary, and the director of the documentary that comes to the event on the story of 5 girls around the world. It's called I'm a Girl, and it's their path. They are girls from 15 to 19 years old, and we've invited a school of the same age here to kind of challenge the documentary as well, but as well the adults on their views on what diversity is about, and how do we include, and how do we include those principles in education. So that's the youth aspect of it. We've as well tried to make a consistent effort in inviting much more youth into all the talks that we're going to have always a perspective from a younger approach. The other aspect that is, I guess, an evolution is we tended to look at really the corporate aspect of diversity and inclusion for a long time. And we had large corporations, we had FMCG, oil and gas, pharmaceutical represented. But we wanted to be really inclusive. So last year we said, okay, let's look at entrepreneurship and what entrepreneurship brings into the picture. This year, we of course keeping those aspects, but we're adding as well the perspective of the arts, of culture, that we've never really touched upon, and education as well, because education is one part of the mix of all of that. So that's, in a nutshell, if I may say, it's a big nutshell.
So very needed, but it sounds so wholesome and well-rounded now, and it's going to a direction that is really the future.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us also, what really fascinates me personally, I have seen is that the Arab women rising up to their roles to really be key change drivers, in the society. And I know you have co-authored a book on the same subject. So tell us, are there really a representation from this region, women, especially the Arab women coming in? And who are those key people? What are their stories going to look like?
Well, out of the 85, I want to safely say that probably half of them are Arabs from different part of the world as well, because Arabs living in Western countries, Arab living in Arab countries, and so on. So and they're all wonderful. So if I have to choose, I'm going to choose two, but it doesn't mean anything. But yes, Will was always a champion of the Arab women, and trying as much as we can to break that stereotype of Arab women. Right? It was initially as well done for that. This year, if I had to single out a few of our speakers, I would say first in Dubai, Dr. Aisha bin Bishr, who is a very well established woman who is at the top of her career, who is on top of that in a sector that is in tech. So she heads the Smart Dubai initiative, which is makes it even more interesting, right? She's an incredibly accomplished woman. She works in government, but she works in tech. We really were very excited to have her, and we know that she usually is more discussing tech issues more than leadership issues. So we're very, very proud and honored to host her this year. Dr. Shoukamin, I would say, is an interesting other angle. She's an artist. She's a pluridisciplinary artist. She worked all her life on Arab women stereotypes, and she will give us her perspective. I don't think she's from Kuwait. Lina Khalife. Lina Khalife is a young woman who is from Jordan. She created an organization called She Fight. I don't know if you've heard about her. She's a fantastic woman. So she helps women in Jordan to learn how to fight.
Okay.
So self-protection and self-defense, because she has noticed that there was more and more sexual harassment in the streets everywhere. So she said, okay, let's take our life in our own hands. She was, interestingly enough, she was recognized by the international media before she was anywhere else. But it's changing. She's a fantastic story.
Sounds so amazing,
And she has a lot of story to tell about other women that she has trained. The last but not the least was Emma Watson last week at the UN Women Conference. We have many other stories, because one of the pillars of the conference this year will be storytellers. But I would say this is a good representation of the perspective we're going to open, and they're all game changers, all of them in their particular field.
Sounds so amazing. I can't wait to be at Women in Leadership Forum this year to get inspired myself, and also to learn from these game changers how they've done it and how they've attained success. I'm also thankful for you for leading the way in this region towards empowerment, and wishing you the best of luck, and looking forward to it.
Great, see you there.
Thank you.